the Mitch Burns.
Welcome to the Film Vaulters. Yes, you are listening to the Film Vaulters. You can watch us live and on YouTube or listen to us in your ears, which you might be doing already. Today, I am here with Briauna. I've never asked you how to say it. Briauna?
That's right. Briauna.
Okay, perfect. Briauna Rupert. And what top 5 are we doing?
We are doing top 5 vampire movies.
Yeah, so every month I try to do a Film Vaulter, and my guest gets to pick what topic they want to do, and Briauna was stuck between top 5 vampires and top 5 vampire movies. There was one other one you wanted to do. Top 5 celebrities you think might be a dick.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you were thinking about?
That one, or if there was like a shark movie category.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're going to get into that. So, Briauna, you have done most of the artwork for my shows, my 2 shows, actually. The logo for the Film Vaulters and the Hollywood Persona. So I wanted to thank you for that, first of all.
Thank you for letting me.
It's awesome. I mean, and you have another connection to the show. Do we want to talk about him or no?
Sure. I mean, he's the only connection to podcasts that I have. So.
Your boyfriend, your man, is Pete Abeta from the Middle Class Film Class. Him and I are buddies as well. Love that guy. You know, so he's great. Go over, listen to the Middle Class Film Class if you don't already. They are awesome over there. So, Briauna, what have you seen anything lately? I know you skipped Sinners. You told me that. You couldn't find time for it.
Yeah.
But I saw it, and maybe we'll talk about it later. I don't know. What have you seen recently that you've loved or liked or hated?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I should go through like my Letterboxd account or something. I do really want to see Sinners. I just haven't yet. Yeah. Does it have to be specifically like a vampire themed thing that I've seen?
No. Just what have you seen in the last little bit?
Okay. Actually, I mean, it is vampire related, just coincidentally, but I recently watched Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person, and I loved that movie. Like, it really stuck with me.
That was one that I wanted to watch before today. Someone just brought it up on another podcast I was listening to, and I think it's such a great idea, you know? So I'm definitely going to get around to that one.
I definitely recommend it. That's, you know, I'm like scrolling through my Letterboxd right now, like, what have I seen? And I feel like lately I've just been rewatching a lot of movies.
I'm like that in like February, March. I rewatch a lot of stuff. It's just recently I've been watching some newer stuff. But yeah, what else was I gonna say? What are your let's say your Letterboxd top 4? If you've got them up right there,
I do.
You know, people get interviewed. I've always wanted to be interviewed and asked my Letterboxd top 4, but what would be yours?
Just like waiting for it.
Would your top 4 give away one of the movies on your list today?
It could. So I'll just do my top 3. I won't say.
You can add in another one.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm not very good on the spot of like, oh, I like this. But so my top 3, excluding the 4th, would be Stardust, Scream, the original, not the newest one, and then Annihilation. Yeah. And then I'll go on there, and for my 4th, I'll either say Men or Ex Machina.
Oh,
I'm a huge Alex Garland fan. I read his books. I watch all of his movies.
Good. I should read his books. I didn't know he wrote, but I know he has written 4 movies, but I didn't know he wrote books. I love him too, and Annihilation might be my least favorite of his. I watched it twice, and it didn't work for me. I liked it better the second time because I went into it less thinking of it like a horror, but more like sci-fi and stuff. I was really sold on the horror and scare aspect of it, which it really isn't, except for that bear. You're really not.
Bear is terrifying.
Yeah, that's why my brother, I was going to watch it with my parents, and my brother was like, you can't show that to mom and dad. And I'm like, and so when we got to that scene, even my dad was like, holy cow, that was creepy. I've never seen anything like that.
Meanwhile, I see something disturbing and I immediately text my dad. I'm like, you have to watch this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
My dad used to be like that, but he's now he's older and he doesn't like the gore as much as I do.
He definitely doesn't like it, but I still tell him to watch it. And then he'll like confront me about it later and be like, why'd you tell me to watch this? I'm like, it's a good movie. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, now I basically just try to send him like old man movies. And like lately it's anything with Jason Statham or Guy Ritchie. Basically I send them down that road.
Typical like dad genre.
Movies, exactly. Yeah, so there was one other thing I wanted to talk about. We share a love of shark movies.
Yes.
And now, did you watch the Bayou that I told you to?
I did, yeah. I watched, I can't remember if you told me 2 movies, but I went and I watched both of them.
Okay.
But I did watch the Bayou.
What was the other one?
I can't remember, but it was another alligator movie, and maybe you hadn't told me to watch it, but you said that you did watch it, and it was not good, but I loved it. Yeah, it was. Oh, that's right, because it was a sequel. Yeah. And I didn't know that it was a sequel until after I watched it, and I talked to you, and you're like, oh yeah, the first one's pretty good too. And I'm like, what? Oh yeah, I have seen that. I didn't even realize. So.
Oh, you had seen it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Was Dark Water 2 bad? I remember like thinking it was okay, but not.
That's the one where they're in a cave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. When I say bad, I mean like I don't think most people would enjoy it, but I love a bad like animal or monster type movie, like a creature feature. I'm all here for it. I'll watch any shark movie. Doesn't matter how bad it is. I'll watch any.
The CGI has to be halfway decent for me. Like, I have trouble with the Sharknadoes of the world. I have not seen any of those movies. Asylum movies, kind of. I don't know. I like movies where they kind of try, and I think the Bayou was that, so that's why I recommended it to you. It's shark adjacent. But I think it's kind of in our wheelhouse. Like I love snakes eating people, alligators, whatever. So did you like it?
I did, yeah. So I always get like kind of I don't know, confronted about the way that I rate movies. And I don't rate it based on like, oh, I think that this deserves this. It's like, did I have a good time or whatever? Right. And like I did. And so I thought that the movie, I don't even know what I would rate it, but I had a good time and it kept me entertained the whole time, which is like a big thing for me because I always have to be like drawing or working on something in the background. This movie kept me entertained the whole time because I didn't think that the CGI was bad. I thought it was pretty interesting. I cared for the characters.
Exactly, yeah. And they use some practical effects as well, which is sometimes it's not great, but sometimes it works. And some of the characters actually have some characters actually have like depth and you care about them, exactly like you said. And yeah, no, I brought it to you. So this is a 2025 alligator movie. And like, as we were kind of saying, those are usually bad. Usually you get bad shark movies. Like there was a run there in 2021 and 22 when like there were so many bad ones. So when I saw this one, and it had a half decent review. I watched it and I liked it. Go in with low expectations, but it's a fun one. The Bayou, 2025, directed by Taneli Mustenin and Brad Watson. And I didn't really recognize any of the actors, but they weren't bad.
I think that they're all British and like it's like a British made movie that's supposed to take place in Louisiana, which I kind of enjoy those types of movies because there's like slang terms and stuff that we don't use here, but they do. And so you can kind of pick up on it. You're like, wait a minute, Americans don't say that. And so it's kind of like I catch myself like, that's not accurate, but I like it. Like it's always fun for me to be like, oh, we don't say that.
It had to have been shot in the States. I'm just gonna check quickly. I know I don't need to, but
I'm pretty sure it was in like
you're
Vietnam.
Right. You are right. It was country of origin is United Kingdom, and then you're right, shot in Vietnam. They all were British people.
Yeah, which I've never been to Louisiana, so I don't know how accurate it looked, but I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
It looked like a bayou to me.
Yep, I have to change my mouse here because I spilled a drink on my mouse a few weeks ago. And it is now sticking up after. I will cut this part out. If you're listening live, I apologize. Okay. So that's the Bayou. Someone in the chat is saying, fun fact, Mitch was so scared of the movie Open Water, he had to wear a life jacket at the beach. Wouldn't go in past his waist. This was when he was 15, by the way. I don't think that's entirely true. Open water did scare me. I do have that thalassophobia or whatever it's called. Like
Thalassophobia.
Is that what it's called? Is that the one where
Yeah.
you're terrified of deep water?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And so I do have that, and open water was like freaky for me. But so is like something like The Perfect Storm. I found that kind of freaky, right? And with the boat, and you can get thrown off, and then you're just lost at sea. It's haunting.
If it makes you feel any better, like as an adult now, I am still afraid of like the deep end of swimming pools. Like logically, I know there's not a shark in the swimming pool, but like emotionally, when I'm there, I can't do it. So I'm not a big fan of being in the water. I get it.
Either. And I think that's why we're kind of drawn to the movies, because it is actually something that could scare us, right? And like even whales kind of scare me sometimes because they're just so flippin' big. I'm like, I see them in videos and I'm like, if I was in I've seen kayakers, they're being with whales right around them, and I'm like, I would be freaking out.
Yeah, no.
Swallow me whole.
It's like sharks are one of my top favorite animals, and I love anything ocean life, but I don't want to be in the ocean.
No, I've over the past few years, I've started to really realize that sharks are not as scary as we were brought up to believe them to be. You know, especially certain types of sharks, and so that I've started to be less afraid of them. But do I want to get in the water with them? I don't know. Maybe just touch one.
Yeah.
But so I guess we don't have to talk about criteria on how we made this list because it was just top 5 vampire movies. But was there any like thought? Was it hard to leave some off? Like, we'll talk about those ones later at the end of the episode, the ones we had to leave off, sadly. How was it for you making your list?
So I feel like I revised my list like 6 times because I am such a lover of vampire movies that like I was going through all of the different movies. I'm like, I can't leave this one off, but I can't leave this one off, but it's only top 5. And so after revising it a bunch, I decided to just call it enough and like leave it where it is. And then for my honorable mentions, I forced myself to only pick 3 because otherwise it would have just gone on forever about my love for like, well, I didn't include this one that I should have and this one and that. So there's a lot left off of my list, and it was very hard. It was like a homework assignment of like,
I took off one for a very interesting reason, and it would have been my like number 3, I think. We'll talk about that later. I want to tell you about that, my thoughts on it. And there was 2 that I put on, I think, because they don't get talked about enough, and I love them so much. Like, I could have put something bigger that I know I love as well, but I just, it's like some of the other ones are just so obvious that I want to, people to watch some of the other ones that maybe they haven't seen.
I kind of went through that thought process a lot too when I was doing it. I'm like, oh, but I don't feel like this one gets enough love. But ultimately, I feel like my list is pretty modern. Like, I don't think there's very many surprises on there. But I don't know. I should have brought my other list that had like, oh, most people don't like this movie, or this one's not very well known, or this one's really disturbing. But I kind of just went with the ones that I've watched the most.
Okay. No, that's a good way to do it. I did watch 2 movies in preparation for this list, and now I forget, but I don't think either of them made it on my list, but I'm glad I saw them because they are both good. Whales and sharks don't eat people. Most of them will swim up to you, check out, and majority of the bites are the animals mistaking the humans as food. They bite then spit them out almost immediately. I like the ocean, says Forrest, someone in our live chat. Thank you for listening. Yeah. Whales, they still scare me. I don't care what you say. Whales scare me.
I will kiss all of them.
I would, like, if they came up to me and I was like, oh, very nice, but I need to be protected by something. All right, so let's jump in. So we're going to start at 5. I'm going to go first so that your number 1 is the last movie we discuss. Let me just go over to where I had my list. All right. So starting at number 5 for me, this is one of those ones that I couldn't leave off because it's a smaller film that not a lot of people have seen, and I think they should see it, and that is called My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To. And I know that is a wordy title, but yeah, it's basically starring 3 people, and it's 3 siblings, Jesse and Dwight, brother and sister, and then their younger brother, Thomas. And it's basically the plot of, what if your young brother was a vampire and nobody else in the world's a vampire? Just all of a sudden your young brother has vampirism, and they have to now provide for this brother in some way. And it's a very interesting story. It's more about the brother and sister, and like their morals about, should we get him blood? What are we gonna do? We have to keep him inside at all times. It's horror, but it's more of a drama. There's definitely horrific aspects. This came out in 2020, around the COVID stuff, and there's a little bit of Spanish. I don't really recognize the actors, Patrick Fugit and Owen Campbell. And the other, I can't remember the lady's name is Ingrid Sophie Schramm, who also sounds familiar. But anyways, I really, really enjoyed this. I think it's if you're not looking for horror, and you're not looking for Twilight, sit down and watch this. It's a nice indie vampire movie that I think most people will enjoy, and I really like.
It's very, I thought a lot of it was a little bit like sad, because you're kind of forced to put yourself in their perspective of like, what would I do if this happened to me or my family member or even a friend, so it's kind of done in a pretty realistic type way, not very like fantastical of like, oh, that could never happen.
I'm glad you saw it. I didn't know if you'd seen it or not. That's awesome. And it is sad because this brother and sister care so much about their little brother, and it's like, what do they do? And that can be an allegory for a lot of things. Like your sibling has health problems, and you're in America, and you can't afford to get their drugs or whatever. What do you do? Thank God I'm Canadian. No.
I'm so jealous.
I'm kidding.
Don't be kidding. Be glad. I wish I were Canadian.
Rustomeyer says, maybe whales and sharks don't eat people, but I don't want to be tasted, aka bitten by one.
It didn't eat you, but you don't have a leg now, so.
Yeah, this has become all about whales and sharks.
Vampires are canceled. On to sharks.
Yeah, the sharks of the ocean. Give us your number 5. I'm excited to see what direction you go in.
So my number 5 is the Fright Night remake from 2011. So this movie is about this kid, Charlie, and he's kind of obnoxious and annoying and typical teenage boy. Someone new moves in next door, and he becomes obsessed and convinced that his neighbor is a vampire, and like nobody will listen to him. Everybody thinks he's crazy. So it's a very fun movie, and I know that remakes get a lot of like crap and people don't usually like them, but I think this remake is super fun. Like, it is very over the top, and there's a lot of ridiculous parts, and it's just a lot of fun. Great cast. It's got Toni Collette, Anton Yelchin, David Tennant. It's great. Imogen Poots.
You're leaving off the main honcho there.
Yeah. Although I get Colin Farrell. Yeah. I didn't want to spoil it. It's a surprise. No, he makes a great Jerry Dandridge. Like, it's amazing.
And have you seen the original?
I have, yeah.
Okay. I watched them back to back, I think 2 Halloweens ago, and the remake couldn't beat the original for me. I ended up really liking the original. I'd have to rewatch it to see why I liked it more, but the remake is really good, and they cast everyone so perfectly. So no, this is a deserved choice. It got a lot of votes from the listeners too, just as many votes for this as there was for the original. So
wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, that just goes to show that they did a good job. So Yeah, no, that is a great pick. Colin Farrell was a great choice.
He's so good. He's hot too, so he plays a great vampire.
An attractive man. I ran into somebody recently. He's Irish, and my friend who is Irish, she was like talking about him. I'm like, I'm surprised you even know who he is. And she's like, I know every Irish like person, especially if they're attractive. But so my number 4 then, unless you had anything else to say.
No, pretty to the point because it's such a well-known movie, I think.
So my number 4 is one of the ones that I watched for this list, and I think people will be upset that I hadn't seen it up until now. But that is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Wow, I can't believe you haven't seen that.
I know. I started it about like 6 years ago when I went through all of Tarantino's stuff. Quentin Tarantino wrote this. Robert Rodriguez directed. So it's got Clooney and Tarantino in one of his like rare acting roles where he actually has a long part. He's one of the main characters. And yes, he did write himself into a scene where he was drinking tequila off of Selma Hayek's foot. Anyways, and this is a really interesting movie. It was not what I thought it was going to be. There's another movie we're going to talk about later that definitely drew inspiration from Dusk Till Dawn, I felt. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. You got Harvey Keitel in there as well. Juliette Lewis, Cheech Marin. He's Canadian, so I was like, okay, cool. Juliette Lewis, she's very pretty, like, you know, and I love her still today. She's awesome.
She is fantastic.
So this is I really, really enjoyed this. It's definitely Tarantino, and this is obviously why we got the Tarantino Tarantino Rodriguez Grindhouse back to back. Yes, this is the movie where he's sucking the woman's toe. You might have missed me saying that. So anyway, so that is my number 4. You can't go wrong with From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm so glad I finally caught up with it. I said I can't do this list if I haven't seen it, and here we are. It's on my list.
It's a really fun movie, and like once it gets going, it is so chaotic. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
It starts very Tarantino-esque with like a robbery, lots of gunshots, and a lot of dialogue, and you're like, how does this turn into a vampire movie? I'm so lost. And then you get there, and yeah, it's pretty great. A lot of great practical effects, and totally up my alley.
Yeah.
So your number 4.
So my number 4, again, I went back and forth on this list a lot, but it had to be the new Nosferatu. And I am an absolute lover of like bad vampires. Like, I want my vampires to be evil. I want them to be doomy and romantic and gothic. And this movie had like everything that I've been craving from a vampire movie. And I was so in love with everything about this movie. I loved how creepy the vampire was. I loved how just depressing the world looked. And it was like A+ for me.
They did the story very well. So do you like your vampires the way, like, they did not make him look pretty like
no.
they have in the past, right? Like most Dracula or vampire movies, they're kind of like attractive, like Colin Farrell, for instance, so when I saw that they were going full like monster, I was excited. To me, that was an excitement because it's been done. We get it. They're attractive. They bring women in and blah blah blah. So you liked that?
Yeah. So for me, I could go either way in a movie. Like, I like when they're attractive, and I like when they're hideous and actual monsters. And I think that they made the right decision for this movie, making him an actual monster because, like you said, it's been done. They've been hot, and like, of course, the vampire's gonna be sexy. So I love when they make the vampire terrifying. Like, that would be scary to see standing in your bedroom in the middle of the night or calling to you from outside of your window.
Exactly.
It really adds to that creepy feeling that I want from vampire movies, because while I do love the romantic ones and like the scary but hot ones, I'm like always craving like an actually scary vampire movie.
Yeah, me too. No, I thought about putting it on the list. Probably it should be on here because in my eyes, it's kind of the definitive Dracula movie. If like I don't like Bram Stoker's Dracula that much, I'm sorry, don't hate me, because I read Dracula the book and I loved it, and I loved the characters. And this movie, Bram Stoker's Dracula seemed to like make it more jokey, and as fun as Gary Oldman was and everything, I didn't love it. So to me, and Nosferatu is like a 99% ripoff of Dracula.
Oh, absolutely.
There's stories behind all that. So for me to see like this, to me, it's basically the perfect Dracula movie. I don't think another one needs to be made, Dracula or Nosferatu. I think that's good, unless you like, go back, watch the 1922 version or this one, you're good.
I definitely wouldn't complain if they made another Dracula, though. I'd still go see it.
I would too. It would be interesting to see like if they would make changes. Like, I guess the only big change they would make is he would be like more of the what's the word? Seductive vampire than Nosferatu.
Like he would eventually gain his strength back and become a cute.
Yes. What's your dog's name again?
Sam.
Sam. So cute. So my number 3 is, I didn't realize this, but it's kind of another sad one. It's Only Lovers Left Alive. And that is starring Tilda Swinton, Tom Hiddleston, Mia Wasikowska, Anton Yelchin again, Jeffrey Wright, and John Hurt. It's directed by Jim Jarmusch, who he's done a lot of movies, Stranger Than Paradise, Down by Law, a lot of different stuff, Coffees and Cigarettes. Anyways, and I haven't seen a ton of his stuff and doesn't really love it, but this one really impacted me and affected me. It's definitely an allegory about depression and making it through your life, and especially these vampires who have been alive for so long, and like for them, they've done everything, they've seen everything, they're interesting. There's kind of this love story like thing there, and some cool vampire stuff as well. This movie kind of has all that. Again, you're not going to get the scares or the horror so much, but excuse me. I think it's a great movie along the lines of, it's like a less exciting Interview with a Vampire. I think it's really good. It seems a little depressing, but that's what it's kind of going for, which it's putting you in the shoes of people who have lived for thousands of years and how they're getting their blood now and stuff like that. And it's one of those movies that for me, it's like a blanket movie, like it makes me feel better kind of movie. It doesn't bring me down.
It's kind of like a comfort movie.
Comfort movie, thank you. I don't know why I said blanket movie, but like I just pictured myself in a blanket watching this. So
the term works.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it that for now. So Only Lovers Left Alive. I don't really have too much more to say about it. I think if you haven't seen it and it sounds like your thing, it's definitely a movie person's movie, like a film lover's.
Yeah.
Did you see it and like it?
Yeah, I did see it and I did like it.
Okay.
I do agree that it's definitely like talks about depression.
Yeah.
I absolutely think that that is a topic for vampires that can be included, because when you're alive for that long, or you have to feed off of humans, eventually you're gonna get depressed. There's nothing else to do. Yeah. You've been alive for thousands of years, so I like it.
And how do you deal with that? It's like the two main characters are named Adam and Eve. Are they the real Adam and Eve? Like, I don't know. It's more, I think it's more like a joke, but yeah. So that is my number 3. Yeah, we're bumping right through this. I only got 2 more. So what is your number 3?
Before I get into my number 3, would it be okay if I let my dog out of the room really quick?
Yeah, getting of course. Go ahead. No, that's hard with dogs, yeah. Go piss on the floor beside
Okay, so sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I'm glad my cat quieted down, because he's been one loud animal the last few weeks or so. Sam, he's named after Sam from Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yep, little Samwise.
Your boyfriend and I send each other it's constantly sending back and forth the Lord of the Rings memes. So and videos.
He's a fake fan. He hasn't even read the books.
I read them when I was young, and I'm going to reread them because I'm just really like J.R.R. Tolkien can write, and he's written some of the best lines of all time in a fantasy novel series. It's just glorious. Yeah,
I'm going through them right now, and they're such comfort books. Like, I don't know, it's like a warm hug. Just
you get to some points where he's describing a tree for 3 pages, but you know what? You just kind of vibe with it, and
it works.
Yeah. So you're number 3.
So my number 3. Again, all of my movies are like pretty much movies that everybody on the planet has seen, which is okay. But my number 3 is What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, not the TV show. And this movie is just so funny. I think this is one of my comfort movies. I absolutely love like how in most vampire movies they're like these very mysterious, dark creatures. And then in What We Do in the Shadows, it's like they're just ridiculous people stumbling around trying to get through life. And I don't know, there's a part that I think about all the time when I'm doing the dishes is like one of the vampires is like, vampires don't do the dishes because they still have to do their house chores. And it's just like, It's like a slice of life type mockumentary movie. And it's so good.
I've seen it and I love it. I should rewatch it because the comedy in it is so good. But I should watch the show. Do you watch it?
Yeah, I love the show.
I mean, the clips of Matt Berry I've seen are hilarious. The way he talks make me want to watch that show. So does he want back in?
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's okay. I have to edit this anyway, so it is no problem.
Great. Okay. Hopefully this is the last time. Ridiculous.
I get.
But yeah, Matt Berry.
Yes,
so
Matt Berry,
funny.
hilarious, and I should be watching the show, but I'll go back and watch the original as well. That was kind of our first taste of he's huge now, Taika Waititi. That was kind of and then he went on, So my number 2. I think this is going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. As of now, it is my favorite movie of 2025. Call me a recency bias person. I don't know. I think maybe last year I would have had Nosferatu on here, but this year I have Sinners on my list. It is in theaters right now, and I don't know how often I can say that about something on my list, but it's directed by Ryan Coogler, who did Black Panther and Creed, and Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Miles Catton, Jack O'Connell, many, many more people, Delroy Lindo. This is an epic movie, and by epic, I mean epic in length, epic in the way the story is told. It is so rich in its storytelling. If you watch the trailers, you don't really understand what the movie is. And I'm sorry if I've let you down by telling you that this is a vampire movie, but I think most people know now. It was actually spoiled by someone, but the trailers did such a good job hiding that it was a vampire movie. So if you went into it not knowing, I think that would have been great. But I think most people do know that now, so I apologize if you didn't. Because there is a lot of story before the vampires start. It's after World War I. It's about the black slaves kind of trying on becoming their own people and I'll probably just end up putting my foot in my mouth, but it's a beautiful story that unfolds before the vampires even get there. So go in and just sit down. You should see it in the biggest screen possible with the best sound possible, because this is one of the best soundtracks and the score of the year for sure. I don't see anything. I don't see the score. If the score is not nominated for an Oscar and doesn't win, I will be very upset. Has Pete seen it? Well, okay. I'll stop listening to that show then.
Cancelled.
Canceled. No, that's good. I think he'll really dig it. I hope he does anyways. I want everyone to dig it. Sam wants to sit on mommy's.
He's being ridiculous right now.
He doesn't like that you're talking to someone else. Give me attention.
I know. It's like, focus on me.
So that was Sinners number 2. Oh my god, he's so cute. That's gonna be the little caption is him. What is your number 2?
So first off, I just want to say that Sinners sounds amazing, and I cannot wait to see it. And I wish that I have seen it so I could give more input on your number 2. But my number 2 is Interview with the Vampire from 1994.
You know, I thought this would be your number 1. I was gonna predict that. So,
do you have a prediction for my number 1? We'll see.
No, now I don't, because in my head that was my prediction. But maybe your number 1's the same as my number 1. Okay, go. Okay.
So, Interview with the Vampire is about this vampire telling his life story to a reporter, journalist, whatever she is, and through it, he tells his story of being turned by the vampire Lestat. And it is so good. The costume design is amazing. The acting is great. You get young Kirsten Dunst in one of her most annoying roles, but also a great role. Like, I don't know. I think that there's a reason children should not be vampires, but you end up getting an emotional connection to her as well. But I think that all of the characters are fantastic. The story, the world building, everything about it is just so like engrossing. You get sucked into this world. And I love how dramatic the main character Louis is, and then I love how just like over it Lestat is. Like, I relate so much to Lestat, always talking about how Louis is always crying about being a vampire, and you're the best thing you can be. Why are you upset about it? And Louis suffering from depression because he's a vampire, and it's just amazing all around. So many good characters.
Yeah, no, perfect. I expect this to be on our listener list. This is one of, I think, the greats.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't seen it in so long that I couldn't put it on my list. But it was the only other movie that I wanted to rewatch before I made this list to see like how much I fell back in love with it. But it's been probably 15 something years since I saw it or something. So I couldn't put it on the list without. I know I like it, but I just Anyway,
definitely time for a rewatch then.
Yeah. Another, I can't remember if it's you or not. Did you play Skyrim?
I did not. I watched Pete play it a little bit, but
okay.
I played a little bit of Oblivion. I didn't play Skyrim.
Okay. Because there's an annoying young girl vampire in that movie named Babette, in that video game named Babette. And so I thought it was you, but it must have been Pete.
I do play games. I just haven't played that game.
Yeah, I knew you were a gamer too, so that's why I was thought it'd be right to say it. Okay, so this is my number 1. This is the other one that I predict could be your number 1. But don't say anything if it is or not.
I won't.
Okay, wait, or your number 1 could be that. Okay, I'll stop. So my number 1 has to be one of the best vampire movies in the last 20 years, or 20 plus years now, 25 years. Let the Right One In, the Swedish version. It's 2008 Swedish romantic horror film, and it is all 3 of those. It's Swedish. It's got a cute little romance in there, and it's got some pretty good horror, and it balances it all very well. This is the Swedish one. There is a remake with Chloe Grace Moretz, I think. That's the only name I remember. And it is pretty good as well. The cinematography is done by Hoyt van Hoytema, and it is directed by Thomas Alfredson. He did Let the Right One In, and then he went on to like do Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which got Oscar nominations. And then he has one coming out. Sorry. Right, no, then he did the Snowman. You did?
I think so.
Yeah, well, it was really bad. So, anyways, it's a story about 2 kids. One of them, the young girl, is a vampire. She basically just sees this little boy and is interested in him and like shows up at his window. There's just images and shots in this movie I'll never forget. There's a pool sequence that I'll never forget, and it is very good. Yeah, I'm drawn to Swedish movies. Some of my favorite movies are from Sweden and that area. So this was kind of a hit for me. The remake is titled Let Me In, by the way, and it's Chloe Grace Moretz and Cody Smith McPhee is the boy. So, all right.
I think both movies are really great. Obviously, the original is better, but I think Let Me In has its appeals as well, and they're both super depressing. Like, both of them capture that dark and depressing feeling so well. And then I really actually loved the TV show version, and I think it was on AMC or Showtime, I can't remember, and it never got renewed for a second season, which I'm still sad about, like 4 years later, but it was so good. So I'm sad that they didn't continue that, but that is not my number one. My number one is the original Fright Night from 1985. So Fright Night is my absolute favorite vampire movie. I will defend this movie to my grave. I think it is an A+ movie. It's got the dangerous, sexy vampire who is also a bad guy. It's got the corniness of the 80s, but this movie is actually very creepy. Like, if you're watching it in the right setting, like I was watching it on my iPad with headphones in the dark one night, and it is actually pretty creepy in some parts. So I love that about it. The funness, the humor, like everything about it. I think the scene where Jerry and Amy, Charlie's girlfriend, are in the club dancing, that's like the sexiest a man can look. It's so good. So that's my number one. I already told you the premise from the Fright Night remake. Yeah. It's exactly the same premise for the original, and it's just a good time. This is absolutely one of my comfort movies. It's so good. The music is amazing. I just love everything about this movie.
So, have you seen the miniseries?
I have not.
Okay, hold on. This came out in 1975, you said, right?
85.
Oh, okay. So I watched the miniseries, which they then turned into a movie. Oh, so maybe, hold on. 1985. Salem's. Sorry, this is...
So you're talking about Salem's Lot.
Yeah, what did I say?
Yeah, I'm talking about Fright Night.
Oh my god, Fright Night. I'm so...
But I have seen the new Salem's Lot. I haven't seen the miniseries.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why I got mixed up with Salem's Lot. But
I mean, it's kind of a similar premise if you think about like vampires moving in next door, but...
Yes. No, the original Fright Night, I meant to pull it up. And then I pulled up Salem's Lot. And, yeah, so that was, yeah. No, I love this one. Like I said, I like this more than the remake, but I can see why you would like the remake, why anyone would like the remake, so.
Yeah, but I don't know, the original, to me, Jerry Dandridge is the perfect vampire. Chris Sarandon was the absolute amazing choice for that. I'm so in love with that character. I really want a Fright Night themed tattoo, so that's how deep my love for this movie goes. And that is my number one on Letterboxd also, which is the movie that I left off of my... Yeah, that's the movie that I left off my top 4.
I have to rewatch it too. I love it. Well, that is... Why don't you run down your list for the listeners again from 5 to 1, and then we'll talk about some also rants.
All right. Starting with number 5, we've got Fright Night 2011, Nosferatu 2024, What We Do in the Shadows 2014, Interview with the Vampire 1994, and Fright Night 1985.
All right, and mine are My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To, From Dusk Till Dawn, Only Lovers Left Alive, Sinners, and Let the Right One In. So, the one that would have made my list, but I took it off for a very particular reason. I love I Am Legend. Mm-hmm. But to me, they don't feel like it. That feels like a zombie movie and not a vampire movie.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Even though they are technically vampires, I looked it up. It came up, and I was looking up vampire movies, and it came up, and I'm like, well, that's got to be my number 3 or 4. I love that. And to me, that's like a zombie movie through and through, except they can't go out in the sun.
Yeah.
You know, they come out at night, but I mean, that's a lot of creatures that come out at night. So
yeah, I completely agree, because I debated putting it in my list somewhere also, and then I was like, I don't know, because I know that they're vampires, and I haven't read the books to like know how they're described in that. But to me, they're more of like zombie vampire hybrids, like when I watch it, because I don't know, it's just like my brain can't turn it off. So when I watch it, to me, they're zombies, and I know that's
the book is totally different from the movie, obviously, and it's more about the vampires being, from what I remember, being right outside of the main character's house and trying to draw him out for most of the movie. And I didn't love the book, but it was definitely interesting, and they were definitely more vampire-ish. So yeah, so what are some of the ones that you left off?
So I had a really hard time narrowing down this list. I left it at 3 because I would just go on and on and on. However, I'm adding on a 4th. This is my honorable mention of an honorable mention, and I'll just start with The Littlest Vampire. Or maybe, actually, I think it's just called The Little Vampire. And with, that movie, it's like Jonathan Lipnick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So as a kid, I was obsessed with this movie. I was in love with the character Rudolph. I wanted to be a vampire so bad. So I feel like I have to include that in my honorable mentions, because it was such a, like, it's a kid-friendly vampire movie, and I was obsessed. And so, but now onto like the actual list. My first one actually is a TV show, and that is Midnight Mass. And this, okay, well, spoiler, it's about vampires. But
I did not know that till later on.
I didn't know that going into it. And since it's a Mike Flanagan show, I assumed that it was going to be something supernatural. And I was like, oh, it's going to be creepy and blah, blah, blah. This show, if we were talking about any vampire movie, would have made it absolutely as either my number 1 or my number 2 on my main list. I think it does such a great job discussing grief. It does such a great job talking about like the struggles of religion and like losing your faith. And I watched this show before I had lost my mom, like a few years before, and then I went back and revisited after I lost my mom. And just a lot of the themes hit so close to home, and it just is so good and so emotional. And there's also just really awesome visuals in it as well. Like there's a shot of a vampire dressed in full like Catholic priest outfit, and it is amazing. Like it's so good. So I just love it. I will scream it from the rooftops that that's the best thing Mike Flanagan has ever done. My number 2.
I'm sorry to hear about your mother. I just lost my mother in November.
Sorry.
Maybe I'll give it time before I watch it. Haunting of Hill House is my top 5 favorite TV shows. I think top 10. It's more of like a mini series, but I love it. Mike so Flanagan. I've seen all of his movies and then that one miniseries, and I will watch the rest of his.
So I think
The Fall of the House of Usher. Did you see that one?
I did, and I have very mixed feelings because I'm an extremely big Edgar Allan Poe fan. So it took me like 5 episodes to get through my anger of like, this isn't how the books go. This isn't how this goes. Blah 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 blah. And so like eventually, when I was able to turn that part of my brain off, I was like, I'll just enjoy it for what it is. Okay, it's not supposed to be like an exact interpretation. I ended up enjoying it.
That's good. That's why I hated Bram Stoker's Dracula, because I'm like, no, Renfield's supposed to be like this. And anyways, sorry for talking over you there.
Oh no, that's...
I've started Midnight Mass twice and then just couldn't find the time for it, so I will get to it. So your honorable mentions. What were the other ones?
Yeah. So then my second honorable mention is Queen of the Damned, which is like not really a sequel to Interview with the Vampire, but it is also an Anne Rice thing. And I see this comment about Twilight, and I agree that it's a great movie. I don't care what anybody says. I'll defend Twilight forever. Anyway, Queen.
This is my friend John, and he's just recently came across the Twilight series, and it sucked him in, and he's been watching them almost like it's comfort movies now.
They are such comfort movies. The first 2 are perfect rainy day movies. Oh my God. Yeah. And the soundtracks, amazing. They're very formative to me as a teenage girl when I was growing up and reading the books and then watching the movies. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Anyway, Queen of the Damned is arguably not a good movie. I love it. The soundtrack is amazing. Like Queen Akasha is amazing. She's so beautiful. It's the story of basically Lestat becoming a rock star. It's so good. It's so good. I can't even explain the movie. You just have to watch it and go into it expecting that it's going to be corny, but you're going to have a good time. Like, just go into it wanting a good time. Don't expect like an amazing story or great coherent anything. It's just fun. And then
for me, it was a perfect 3-star movie. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but like, you know, I had fun, and it was what it was. You know, it's a lot like the Underworld movies. You know, like you know what you're getting, and yeah. But anyways, you're
true. So my last one, which I brought up earlier, was Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person, and this movie was just A+. French Canadian, very sweet story, very comforting and cozy, and I feel like a little bit relatable too. It talks a little bit about like mental health struggles, and from both sides of like a vampire dealing with some mental health struggles and then a human, and it's just a very like warm, comforting movie. It's not overly gory or graphic, so if you are interested in like a vampire movie but you're not interested in seeing something that's got too much sex or too much gore or violence, you know, this is probably a good vampire movie because I feel like it's easily accessible. It's just a sweet, good
indie drama type with like a little romance. It's got
kind of like a dark comedy with
dark comedy,
maybe romance. I don't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't even consider it. I mean, I'd say that it's romance, but it's more of just like learning to love your situation and like finding comfort in someone close to you.
Well, that is one I will definitely be watching. Excuse me. My honorable mentions are both the Fright Night movies. We're very close to making my list, at least one of them. The first 2 Blade movies, Daybreakers. I don't know if you've seen that one, but
I actually have not seen Daybreakers. It's like one of the vampire movies I missed.
Yeah, it's a lot of people didn't like it, but it's Ethan Hawke and Sam Neill, and I really liked it. It's like a futuristic vampire world, and I really enjoyed it. Near Dark by Catherine Bigelow. I really loved The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
I say Demeter. I don't know what it is.
I
named my character in Elden Ring Demeter. So
did you? Blood Red Sky is good. Fright Night, like I already said. I haven't seen the original Nosferatu, but I watched Werner Herzog's Nosferatu the Vampire from 1979, and I thought it was very good. And of course, the 24 version. 30 Days of Night, I think, if you are looking for a very gory, flashy, stylish one. And then Renfield and Abigail. Renfield that just came out a few years ago, and Abigail are on that list. So yeah, so you can go let him out.
I just texted Pete asking if he'll come get the dog, but
okay, whatever works. So I will say the Film Vault did this topic originally in October of 2013, so they could redo this. So if
been a lot of movies since then.
Yeah, you can go back and listen. Like, they really liked Renfield's and Nosferatu, so I wonder they would probably make that list. Oh my god!
FCFC cameo.
Hi, buddy. How are you? He can't hear me.
He can't hear you.
No.
Fun. Take the dog.
Oh my god, it's a family. It's a reunion. Yeah, so what was I saying? So yeah, that list could be different on the Film Vault. I'd love them to redo this list, but so and where you have done your design work, I don't know if you want to keep doing that. I know you do a lot of amazing artwork. I love looking at your stuff.
Thank you.
Some of your miniature. I bought the little ghosts in a pumpkin field.
Oh, that's right.
So freaking cute. And you also sent me a little chicken and stuff. It was just so awesome. Where can people find that kind of stuff if they are looking for it?
So I haven't been posting on Instagram very much lately, but I am still doing art and clay stuff, so it'll come back eventually. But if you're interested in seeing my old stuff, you can check out my Instagram, which is Brie like we, 2 eyes in both of those. And occasionally I post stuff on there. I'm just working on some projects on the side that I haven't been posting online, trying to take the pressure off of myself of like, what if people don't like it? So but there will be artwork again someday.
So how do you spell that? I'm gonna write it down for myself. I always
BRIILI
Sorry. Briil.
E W I I.
I.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that mean? Is it Hawaiian?
No, like when I was, I don't know, whenever the Wii came out, I had to make a name on there. So I made it to I, so it's Brie like Wii.
I've been following you for like 3 years and I've thought it was something Hawaiian. I thought you were Hawaiian this whole time, and it's just like Wii.
I'm Californian and boring, sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious.
No, it's just Brie like Wii.
Okay, so go ahead and give Brie a follow on there. Would you be if people had like some design work, like if they like the design, the logos you made for the Film Vultures and the Hollywood Persona, would you mind if people reach out to you?
Go ahead. Okay. I love meeting new friends and I love working on projects, so send them my way.
She's very easy to work with, you know, obviously just send it back and forth, and yeah, it was great. I was going to go do Fiverr, and I'm like, well, I've got a friend who does this, so why not? So it's been, she's good.
I appreciate it.
No problem. Anyways, thank you everyone for listening to the Film Vultures. I'm, again, your host. Next time I'm on here, I will have the new merch, which Anderson has sent to me, but he said it was the only issue he has had with shipping was with my order to Canada. They want to charge me now like $70, even though Anderson already paid for the shipping on his end. I think there's some people at the border, I think, who are unhappy with Canada right now for not wanting to be American. We've heard some horror stories about people trying to cross the border. So I don't know what's going on. They charged me a buttload of fees and stuff. So I will be wearing the new merch in the next episode, hopefully, as long as it doesn't get sent back or something. Anyways, I think you can still buy that merch. They have a few shirts left. Listen to the Film Vault. I have all their links on my link tree, which will be below. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And thanks, Briauna, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.